Jamie and Jason.
Where are we at here? Another Goryo. Oh, and Zoo. Okay. This Goryo's list has some of the Ketramos in the main. And it has more disruption in the side. So it's a little bit of a different philosophy than the last Goryo's list that we saw. More disruption in the side and more of an anti-fair plan in the main. And that actually might benefit Zoo. So we have just Jason and Jamie.
So yeah, so Jason's on Goryo? No.
Jason is on
Zoo.
Yeah.
Interesting. Not really what I expected from Jason here.
I don't know if Jason's pro combo or anti Goryo, but this to me means anti Goryo. So Jamie's list, just maybe different than most. We have 4 Solitude and 4 Force Negation.
Jason's got double ley line.
There we go. Oh, we finally saw one in 9 matches.
And Jason's trying to catch us up now. He's trying to make up for the lack of ley lines we saw. So here's double. Generally double. I mean, not that relevant against in game 1 at least. Sometimes. Your opponent might have main deck enchantment removal of that.
Leyline binding. Some lists are still 5 color and they do run leyline binding just to be able to have another removal type with Atraxa, but it's not as common.
Okay. But Jason with 2 lands, but no 2-drop, but Null Drifter in the main. Okay, so Jason is on a bit of the
Doorkeeper,
the Thrall pile.
Oh, so there's 4 Flage and 4 Null Drifter. Okay,
yeah. So he's on a bit of the stifle. Right? He's also on the 3 consigned to memory. So,
yes.
Which I mean, very already pre-board tech against Goryo.
Yes.
Both Thrall and consigned, very good against Atraxa.
Yeah.
Less good against Grizzy B.
Less good against multiple copies of Psychic Frog and Emperor of Bones, which is what Jamie has in his main deck.
But,
so 2 interesting angles from both decks. Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this match is gonna go. Here's the Froggy.
It's like that doesn't stop. But
here comes Thrall. But we got a reader. But the nice thing about this is that, I mean, putting in a Flage right now, which Jason has in hand, so he has the mana for it, which he does. But here's just Null Drifter.
Yeah, cast trigger, draw 2.
Yeah, cast trigger, draw 2. Here's 4/4.
Hey, Annihilate 1, I actually think is a lot. I think this is very good from Jason's perspective. Annihilate 1 is way more impactful than Helixing this turn.
Yes.
Way more effective than Helixing. Now, I think this is a mistake. If I was Jamie, I'd discard 2 cards right here and block this Doorkeeper Thrall.
Yeah. I think Jason's too focused on his own hand, where we also saw that he doesn't have a backup Thrall as well.
Yeah, but now you've lost that tempo, right?
Yeah, so Jamie opted to jump the Frog and block the Thrall.
I think the issue I get playing against these Goryo's decks, in particular, is the Psychic Frog axis gives them such an enabler, and people are so concerned about one type of axis against these decks that they sort of fall into one of these weird traps. And this situation is like, am I enabling my opponent? Like, am I giving my opponent an out? Like, am I benefiting their game plan by doing this action? And it's always hard to evaluate on the opposite side. So, like, it's like, yeah, you could have just chipped in for one, but what if your opponent just discarded Atraxa and blocked? It's sort of tough to evaluate, but
like it's hard to look at the deck that is trying to put a 7-drop into play.
Yes.
And also think that this 2-drop is going to kill me.
Right, absolutely. Now we followed up with Emperor Bones. Yeah, so this is going to keep
and then
everything
pitch
in
solitude,
check.
so
Yeah.
it gets totally invalidates.
This is going to
Jason's
keep
turn.
everything in
But
check.
here comes
I believe.
second.
All right, here we go.
Doorkeeper Thrall
Well,
to cancel the
geez,
solitude.
sure. I'll keep the 3/2 on the field.
Yeah, 3/3/2. Right, and I mean this is also where Annihilator 1 isn't very good.
Yeah.
Because I've been
I think you
less
sack
and
the
less
land
high
here.
on Null Drifter. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been falling down on Null Drifter for quite a few months now.
Yeah.
Because of these scenarios where like oftentimes your opponent just can keep up with the Annihilator 1 and the rest of the card isn't threatening enough.
Yeah.
Right? Annihilator 1 is only good if your opponent stumbles.
Yeah.
And then you kind of keep them on the back foot.
Yeah, third mana source doesn't exactly help the situation here, even if Jamie has some force negations. There's no point in
I mean, he has Emperor Bones, he has like a frog, he can very easily do the discard,
Yeah.
reanimate right
Just
now.
keep playing another land.
And I mean, here's the another land, so he's right back to where he started. Right. It's weird to say, but certainly, and of course now Jamie can, bring back Jason's Null Drifter, another one him back, right back.
And then
right?
Annihilate for 2 as well. Oh, sorry, Annihilate for 1.
Yeah. Which is
But I think you're just sacrificing a Leyline and a Guild Pact at that point and 4
That's
damage.
true, right?
Yeah.
And that's another reason why, right? That another one just doesn't look that menacing because Modern puts a lot of things in play right now. A lot of people have 1-2 extra permanents to throw away.
The battlefields are tremendously more important than in other formats like Legacy. Yeah.
But this play isn't bad because it's still, I mean, Jamie's
very,
still coming
very big
in with
attack.
a lot of damage here. 16, 17, 18, 19.
4, 3, 4.
Or, sorry, Frog would
11,
be 4, but yeah, 4,
14,
8,
14.
9, 10, 11.
It
12, 13,
is
14.
lethal. There had to be a block. Yeah. It was lethal.
And you have to block the frogs. It's the only thing that can actually get bigger to kill you. So
Yeah. And also provides advantage to your opponent when drawing another card in combat. Yeah.
Yep. So the obvious choice. Yeah, Drifter goes into exile because of the.
Yeah, I don't know if this Null Drifter is on blocking duty yet, but we'll see what Jason says. He does have Flage, but the Flage will only
Flage kills Solitude and then
gains-
die to Frog.
essentially, unless you gain the 3 life, you'll chump block the Frog, right? And then you'll take the 4 from the Emperor Bones, and you hope the other 2 points of damage isn't happening from some random ass Night's Whisper on your opponent's side of the field.
Yeah. I hope they don't go Night's Whisper target you. That's a classic. I would love to see that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, Drifter.
We need another turn here. We need that Null Drifter in the graveyard, and we need another land that we can recast Flage.
See, I mean, this is one of the reasons why
we can't.
I would have.
I forgot about that whole thing. Yeah, there we go. Never mind. There's no out.
Yes. I mean, this is why I would have preferred to play Flage when he played the Null Drifter on that first turn.
Yes, instead
Because
of the
it
Null
just
Drifter,
creates so much more pressure
absolutely.
than the Drifter does.
Yeah, I can understand the philosophy though of just like making your opponent just like sack permanent so that they don't have enough mana sources to Goryos and then like and blink and do this all and do that. But I can see the value of Annihilator 1.
Where it's like 3 mana.
Yeah.
I get to draw 2 cards. Annihilator 1.
It seemed like the potential 6 life gain would have been more important in this situation than just the than just the straight up damage. So I don't think there's
reread number.
That doesn't seem like 2 Tribal Flames in Jason's hand, so I don't think he's going to make the board neutral anytime soon.
Yeah. Looks like he has another Leyline. I don't even think Scion helps him. He's got Consign, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like Leyline, Land, Consign, and Scoop. So
permanently on the back foot, there's no level of recovery at that point in time.
But I mean, perfect textbook example of here's my combo deck. I beat you. I didn't even use
the combo,
or you didn't even see any piece of the combo.
No,
you just saw like 2-drop mid-range cards. And that was enough to win.
And that's exactly where I think Jamie's deck construction is like very favored. It seems like he's way better against the fair decks the way his deck is constructed. Way better against fair decks, slightly disadvantageous against the unfair decks, but that's what his whole sideboard's for. So we go to the sideboard here. We have 2 Wrath Disguise, 4 Consigned Memory, 2 Mystical Dispute, 3 Thoughtseize, 2 Surgical, 2 Pest Control. And then on Jason's side, we have Orm's Chant, Stubborn Denials, 2 Containment Priest, 2 Wrath Disguise, 2 Mystical Dispute, Celestial Purge, Cosmic's Return, one wear chair, and 2 surgical extraction. So, if you caught the sniff, I would say very particularly, I am interested in Celestial Purge one way or another in Jason's side.
Yeah.
I am also interested in Stubborn Denials just based on whatever spells you can play. You can actually disrupt them. Obviously, cards like Lightning Bolt are just very ineffective on Jason's side.
Yes.
I think it's very minimal sideboarding that you take from Jason's perspective, but
I mean,
I think it's highly impactful though.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm definitely bringing in Containment Priest as well. That card just slaps this match.
yeah, absolutely. It's just there's a few cards here, but it's like I think it's just based on the main deck composition.
Yeah.
I think you only at most you're taking out 6 cards here, and at most I think those cards are just Ragavan and Lightning Bolt, and then it's like whatever combination you see as good disruption versus strictly better cards that interact with your opponent in the matchup. I think we can sort of agree on that. It seems to be what his perspective is, but like also, what kind of information did you get out of that game?
Yeah.
Right?
Not
like
really
how
a whole
deep
lot.
do you go? But if
Yeah,
I see blue cards, I am bringing in Stubborn Denial.
Yeah.
I am doing that.
Because, all that really Jason saw was like Esper midrange.
Yes.
He can sniff out that maybe it's Goryo's, but I never saw any
There was only one
Goryo's
overgrown
pieces.
tomb that would even consider the fact that it might be Goryo's.
Yeah. But otherwise, it was like Emperor Bone, Solitude, Psychic Frog. That's all that killed you.
On Jamie's side here, I think it's very straightforward. Consign to Memory is just obviously what we spoke about last week when it comes to the whole
have to
dynamic of
answer
Scion and
Scion.
Draco. You have to stop Scion, you have to stop Leyline Binding.
Yes.
Done, right?
Yeah.
So we're putting the 4 consigns. The Wrap the Skies are what's like actually questionable one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't think it's effective enough. I mean, it hits. It's not terrible against Thrall and Kavu. I guess maybe Ragavan.
I just don't see
copies,
fatal pushes
but
in the Reanimator list.
right. I think he's more inclined to bring in Thoughtseize, honestly, 'cause that's another way to deal with the Scion.
I would simply just take out the force negations and put in the consigns. I think that's step 1.
Yeah.
I think you take out force negation, put in consign to memory because it actually has more impactful targets. And some of the targets that you would have considered countering with force negation, like I said, the Leyline Binding trigger, like you just counter with consign anyway.
Yeah.
So being able to take out a potential trigger and then Scion and whatnot is just, I think it's insanely more impactful.
Yeah.
Especially also beneficial towards your strategy if you get a Trax out.
Yeah.
It's just there's too much of a strict upgrade between those 2 cards.
Yes.
So I think it's actually minimal sideboarding on both sides, but let's see how this goes. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna cast Farewell and Exile everything. I'm sorry.
Mulligan
Looks like,
from Jamie.
Yeah, looks like Jamie's pitching his hand. Jason quite happy with his pull.
Nothing of my favorite I really care to cast. No, actually, no. Enchantments.
You can stay something that is possible.
Okay.
You gotta get rid of enchantments or something.
With what?
There's no graveyard.
Yeah, there's no great.
Dice representing 1 mulligan. I can do this thing now.
Go ahead.
And looks like Jamie's happy with his 6, and it's off to Jason. Any pregame actions? No.
No.
Maybe I'll play favorite.
I still think we're like 12% chance to have.
Yeah, and what was sad is that they didn't do anything last game either. He had 2 of them. They didn't do fucking shit. He just mind rotted himself to be like, look at my permanence. So there's Containment Priest.
Kavu, Containment, Leyline Binding.
Yeah,
Null
Jamie's
Drifter.
reading that.
Perfect,
So yeah, Jamie did bring in Thoughtseize, which I think is
if
wise.
you were to bring in Thoughtseize, what else would you take out?
Maybe he cuts some number of Philagi. I guess
Tainted
Jamie also has
Indulgence.
Ketramos in the main deck. Maybe he doesn't need those in this matchup.
Ketramos is good against the other fair decks, but yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
2 Grizzle Brands. Usually I only see decks on 1. Maybe you can go down to trim to 1.
Yeah.
1
I still think
Grizzle.
Prismatic and he would have been kept. It'll be interesting to see what they sideboard up.
Alright.
We'll find out.
Yeah, this is another thing that's interesting about Thoughtseize is that it
Reveals information both sides.
does.
Yes,
it does, right? Where Jason has revealed sideboard card that says
Yeah.
you cannot combo, and
And
Jamie's
we
decided.
chose Leyline Binding.
Yeah.
Like
So
there's
what
a
does that
frog.
tell you?
There's
Yeah.
a frog.
Yeah.
There's a frog. Like it's just like it's not even close.
Right?
Like,
There's
you're-
got to be frog coming up.
Yeah, you're pushing something proactive for
Yeah.
sure. There's a frog or an emperor bones. It's just like I can't see that choice being the selection one way or the other. Because truthfully, like, why would you even bother with Leyline Binding if you had the Atraxa combo out? It's just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I'll just
Right.
draw 14 cards or whatever, and then like, yeah, you killed my Atraxa, but
Yeah.
the board's empty, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially when you see your opponent's hand like that, where it's like, oh, I have a Kavu. It's like, well, okay, so I see a Prismatic Ending / Solitude probably coming. Yeah, like 90% of the time, and if I was in that opposite position, I would be taking out the Kavu.
Yeah.
Just to so my opponent doesn't have a proactive play.
Yes.
But like if you have
If their best play becomes here's a 2/2.
yes,
You're
yeah.
like, okay, so I have like 10
Yeah.
turns to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, here comes Kavu. So, could also look up that maybe Jamie has like prismatic ending as well. That he's just like, I don't care what you play next. I'll just exile it.
Yeah. Is that an island? That one?
Yes.
I think so. Okay.
I think this is the second time we've seen Bikini Bottom Islands show up in this stream.
I don't know what that is.
The SpongeBob.
There you go. All right, so here we are. It is like a frog.
Here's the frog.
We're just exchanging blows here.
So, genius foresight here. We, from our opponent's thought seeds, we figured out what there was in their hand,
Yeah,
actually.
absolutely,
So,
yeah.
Uno reverse to you, actually.
Yeah.
You can discard one of my cards, but I get peak.
Yeah.
But surely Jason isn't on the defensive here, right? He is.
Well, once again, I think the lesson learned from the Doorkeeper Thrill attack is just, am I playing into my opponent's strategy when I do this? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah. I guess it does force Jamie to, spend greater resources to like draw a card.
But he's
here.
already up cards from the mulligan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I mean it. When you're unsure what to do, it is also, the best to leave your opponent with the most opportunities to make mistakes.
Yes.
So,
Well, there's Grizzleband Goryos, so there you go. I think we're okay. I think that was a solid volley.
if only you could see my face right now. Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna exile these other 3 cards. I'm gonna leave Grizzlebrand in the graveyard.
Yeah, now it's forcing the. See, I actually think this dynamic may be slightly off.
Well, see,
because-
Jamie's already jumped, so I mean, Kabu can't
Yeah.
block. He's just like,
Yeah.
I'll take my card now.
I would say though that there is a line where it's effective to be like, okay, are you willing to trade your Kavu for the Grizzlebrand in my graveyard
Yes.
by holding your Psychic Frog back?
Yes.
Like, is the card you're going to draw be more effective than the removal spell otherwise?
Yes. Yes.
But with the Containment Priest, that's obviously not going to be a line, so we allow that to resolve and we keep going. No spell snares in the list. No 1-mana blue disruption except for the Mystical Cubes in the sideboard and the consigns.
All right. Discarding Leyline, looting for something else. That's pretty good. Leyline's kind of dead. Does Jamie just chump? Probably. I don't know what this Philology's doing otherwise. Like, just gain your 5 life.
It being in the graveyard is more impactful than the battlefield.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Gives you frog fuel and it gains you 5 life. Like,
Yeah. So did Jason cycle a Leyline of the Guild Pact instead
did.
of like actually attacking the Grizzlebrand just because the opponent has to answer the Containment Priest?
I think
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah. Jason's like, well, I have a safety valve in play already. I
Yeah.
don't need to also do this. I want to try to improve my hand
Right.
while I have the chance here, I guess. But it is risky because, he leaves himself open to, kill Priest if he doesn't have counterspell all over. Or at least very bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, Froggy chipping in, drawing cards. It still amazes me how strong drawing an extra card per turn is in Magic the Gathering. Like, it should be obvious by now, but like, it's so good.
Yeah.
It pushes you so far ahead.
There's another Psychic Frog.
Another one.
So no Prismatic Ending, no Solitude for this Kavu to take it off the field.
Ah, so he had second Priest. That's why he's like, why bother exiling
Yeah.
Grizzlebrand if I got 2 of these? I got 2.
Yeah, I'm really scared.
But, I mean, now it comes down to, can you beat 2 Psychic Frogs? Because you might have a hard time, actually.
Kava may not be able to beat 2 Psychic Frogs, but I think he can beat down 14 life points pretty quick.
True.
Yeah.
Jamie is on a, 2 Kavu certainly speeds things up now.
Yeah. But that's a pass. Okay.
All right, gonna force Jamie to do some jumping. If he wants cards, you gotta put
Well,
things
this
in the
Marsh
graveyard.
Flats doesn't search for a hedge maze, so what is it looking for? Oh, an Undercity Sewers on a turn?
Ooh, evoke Solitude.
Okay.
Pitch a Traxa. This could be if this is Ephemerate, then Jason's in big trouble.
Well, does the ephemerate won't work, correct?
Oh,
because
that's
of the
right,
containment
because of
priest.
double priest.
Yeah.
It would work on 1 priest because you exile
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you Ephemerate. But
Yeah.
yeah, double is safe.
Yeah, ephemerate does not work.
Doesn't actually do diddly squat here. Oh, now Jamie's reading. I think that was the play Jamie wanted to make.
Yeah, yeah.
But now that he's seeing the game actions play out, he's
Yeah.
realizing, like,
Yeah.
oh, if I get rid of the one, the other one's still there when I need to ephemerate,
Yeah.
so I can't actually do this one.
Yeah. Yeah, this should be finding Undercity Sewers and then gaining more information. See, so specifically, I think in these situations, when your opponent just passes all this priority, they're obviously holding Stubborn Denial one way or another.
Yeah.
What I would have done in particular is just fetch first, surveil first, gain the information, and then
decide what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because nothing that you're doing is going to affect the top card.
Right,
So you might as well
right.
see what's over there. And if you're keeping it, then you have some more informed choices, right?
So a little bit of sequencing, but we're still trudging along. Perfect.
Don't need another Goryos, yeah.
Don't we need that? No.
Draw something else.
I'm pretty sure it could have been any card, and you're putting it in the bin to get these Psychic Frogs flying and drawing more cards. Because
Yeah.
honestly, at this
It
point
is
in
funny
time,
when you're surveilling and you're like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, anything I see I just put in the graveyard,
yeah.
so.
At this point, I think Jamie's hoping that he did draw or did side in Wrath the Skies.
Wrath of Skies does look very good here. I
Yeah.
mean, I was talking shit about, like, where does it really
Yeah.
hit? It hits everything. Like,
Yeah.
sure you lose your frogs.
Yeah, but I think you're almost into that situation here.
Yeah,
so we're
so
discarding.
he did have
the
Ephemerate,
Yeah.
so now he's like, okay, might as well discard this thing. It's not
Yeah.
doing anything.
Flying. Yeah.
And then, jump this froggy. Jump the other frog, too, I think? Yeah. Draw 2 cards.
Well, these 2 cards better be real good, real quick.
Yeah, because,
Well, we need 2 white sources for 2 prismatic endings, so that's not going to be effective enough. Yeah, see, I think Jamie should have just killed one of the Kavus.
yeah.
And then
Because
the
now
Containment
he's
Priest can't
1
beat
life
Psychic Frog.
away
Yeah.
from death here, right? He could have been 6 life away from death.
Absolutely,
Or
yeah.
3 life away.
Yeah.
All right, which is just so much better. Oh, well, there's Catcher Mouse.
Yeah.
Remember me? That one does deal with Kavu pretty well.
At least
Actually.
blocks. Yeah.
Well, what's nice is that it effectively only makes the Kavus pushing in for 1 damage because you
Right.
negate the damage from 1 and then you
Yeah.
gain 4.
Yeah.
The other guy deals 5, 1 damage. So
Jason's Kavus are still only 4/4s currently.
Okay,
They don't
okay.
have all 5 types.
okay.
There's no
All right,
black
he's
source.
missing forests or
There's no black, source.
Okay,
Yeah. I
okay.
believe that's a Lush Portico and then a Steam
Oh,
Vents.
okay,
yeah.
yeah. So then Ketchum's looking very good here then. We might have a bit of a stalemate here, actually, because I mean Jamie's running out of graveyard cards, so the frogs are gonna have a hard time getting through the wall.
Heck, if you're Jamie and you attack with all 3, I think you block Containment Priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think there's actually that many good attacks for Jason, unfortunately, right now because there's no Blood Crypt.
Yeah.
There's no Blood Crypt and there's no Xander's
He
Lounge.
needs the black source, yeah. Four powers and enough. He's gonna go in anyway, I guess. Does he have a trick to beat this Catcher Mouse? I just saw his hand, he does not.
There's no 2 mana Leyline Binding and then 1 mana Stubborn Denial, is there?
I see 2 lands, Guild Pact consigned.
Another Guild Pack getting cycled.
Okay, so he's trying to rip into something here, I guess. He's like, I'd rather have 2 draw discards here to try to find something. Yeah, Ketchumos eat 1. Num, 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 num. And you take no damage. Not the best exchange, because now the frogs are free to throw down. So
Board state does not
now,
look good at all.
no.
But it looks like Jason's desperate to find some type of interaction and had to loop with both these Kavus in order to try and get there. And I think the game may just run away in Jamie's favor right now.
Yeah, Jason's seen the wrong half here, where he's got stub, consign, 1 other card, and well, we're gonna find out what the other card is right now. I think it's Null Drifter.
I think there was a stubborn denial as well, but
Yes, I think it's stub, consign, Drifter.
he may just let it resolve just so his opponent loses 2 life, and I would too.
Really?
I think so.
You wouldn't just be like stub, whatever, like.
You need like land.
Yeah, Null Drifter, stub.
And consign.
Consign.
Yeah, I would let this happen. Yeah. The 2 life is actually very important for you right now. And here you just take Null Drifter and then you just start attacking and then like, your opponent's hand is blank. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason unfortunately drew his stack interaction when he needed
Yeah.
board interaction.
Yeah.
So yeah, get rid of any sort of board interaction there.
I can make copies of these things on my side. I have no idea.
Yeah, throw ephemerate away, you don't need that. Grow the frog.
Bad cards are 1/1 counters.
They sure are.
Yeah.
Every card's floor is food for Psychic Frog.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, does the exile trick, draws card off of Ketchumos.
Yes.
Frogs flying. It's funny. He also finally exiled his own Grizzlebrand. He's like, that game plan's over.
Yeah.
We're firmly Esper mid range now.
Yeah. So you have 8 damage coming in.
And now you block with Priest, right? Like,
you just don't know. You're going to draw 2 cards. You can't allow your opponent to draw Grizzlebrand Goryos again, and then
I guess, yeah.
this is the lane. This is the lane that like Jason had to go down, and it just did not favor him well. Yeah.
Now, if you're Jason, do you ever consign Replicate to counter the 2 frog draws? Because that is a trick you could pull.
I think at this stage of the game, it's obviously an option. Yeah.
Right? Tonight you're putting 2 cards.
This consign's essentially never getting better than a mind rot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So might as well just say no, stop drawing cards.
Yeah.
You got nothing else to do with your mana, like, what are you going to stub?
Yeah.
He is doing it, yeah. On those, yeah, get it. No cards for you. Oh, and there's our Bowness. Yeah, well, I'm very impressed how smoothly Jamie's deck has performed here, given that he hasn't done the namesake thing
Yeah,
once.
Esper midrange definitely was not on my radar.
No. Yeah, Kavu has to go in.
Yeah, I think Jamie mislabeled his deck because I don't think it's Goryo's really.
No. I mean, when your deck starts winning more off of Psychic Frog and
Emperor Bones and
Ketchumos,
Ketchumos,
like, you gotta rename it.
Who drives a gray colored Kia? I do. Raise your hand. Do I have to move it? Please, there. Who is it?
There it is.
Gray color Kia's in the trouble.
In trouble.
In the red zone.
The toe man cometh. Alright. Did the loot find you what you needed, Jason? I don't know what you can find off of a loot to get you out of this one. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
That was the threw away stubborn denial. Alright. Not even gonna bother adapting Emperor. He's like, I got lethal in play. Like, I don't gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta answer all these.
I gotta do diddly, yeah. You gotta kill 3 of my things to not die right now. Yeah.
That's a chump.
That's allowed. That's a legal Magic the Gathering play, and you can
But that's
take
al- but
2,
that's
4,
also-
6,
that's also
and that
6
kills
damage,
you.
yeah.
That definitely kills you. Adapting Emperor definitely kills you. Oh, Lightning Bolt, but what if I adapt again? Which is a thing you can do.
Awkward. Adapt is just such a weirdly worded
It's a
card.
really weirdly worded
Yeah.
mechanic, yeah. It's strange, honestly.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
it.
is it.
Yeah.
2-0 for Esper mid-range.
See a picture of this.
Yeah.